Men's and women's soccer return home for this coming weekend after their recent away two-game matches. Volleyball returns home after a short break and take on RSC rival at home. The NBA season is back, while the NFL season hits its mid-season mark, and the MLB season begins to close with its final series. And who's been stellar and who's been lackluster in the NHL so far? It's time to come on down to the Pioneer Sideline. Hello everyone and welcome back to Pioneer Sideline. I'm your host, Natalia Hillen. It was another busy week for the Point Park men's soccer team as they were on the road for two matchups against Midway University and WVU Tech last week. The Pioneers took the win home versus Midway 2-1 with 2 goals scored by Yame Ginevard in the first half, 13 minutes in, and in the second half in the 48th minute. Midway's Martin Escobar scored for the Eagles in the first half. The game ended with a score of 2-1. Moving on to the second game against WVU Tech, the Pioneers took an unfortunate loss of 0-3. WVU Tech had a 1-0 lead at the half due to a corner kick goal from the Golden Bears in the 32nd minute. The Golden Bears added 2 more goals in the second half by Ollie Corus in the 53rd minute and Alejandro Moreno in the 83rd minute. The final score was 3-0. The Pioneers are third place in the RSC with a 5-2-1 record. Switching gears over to the Point Park women's soccer team as they had 2 wins in their RSC matchups on the road against Midway and WVU Tech. Starting with their first game against Midway, the Pioneers took the win home 5-0. In the first half, 2 goals were scored by Holly Pasco in the first 12 minutes and Kara Spree in the 20th minute. In the second half, Holly Pasco scored again in the 50th minute, and lastly, Maria Rojas got one in the net in the 66th minute. The final score was 5-0. Moving on to their next game against WVU Tech, the Pioneers won 5-2. In the first 20 minutes, the Golden Bears were leading the first half 1-0, up until Vanessa Vasquez scored in the 21st minute, tying the game up. Chanel Britton scored the next Pioneer goal, which led the team into the second half. At the 58-minute mark, Point Park was leading 3-1 on Madison Spencer's huge goal. The game followed with goals by Vanessa Vasquez with her second in the 88th minute and Vanessa Elwanger in the 89th minute. The Golden Bears got their second goal in the final seconds of the second half in the 90th minute. This brought the matchup to a final score of 5-2. The Pioneers are 1 point away from first place in the RSC after the 2 wins. They have 6 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. Also, a big congratulations to sophomore defender Orsi Tatai on getting the RSC Women's Soccer Defensive Player of the Week for October 16th to the 22nd. Congrats again. Men's and women's have clinched a playoff berth with their current record. Both the men's and women's teams are on the road this Thursday versus Rio Grande, and they have another matchup this Saturday, October 28th, starting at 11 a.m. at Highmark Stadium against IUPUC. It is Senior Day, so come out and support the seniors. Good luck to both teams this week. After the break, we recap volleyball, cross country, and esports. Don't go anywhere.
Hey.
Good evening and welcome to News Night. My name is Craig Verkowski.
Tonight, we'll cover all your international, national, and local news.
Australia is one of the most biodiverse countries on the planet.
Over 8,000 items are to be auctioned off at Pittsburgh International Airport on October 22nd.
Last Thursday, the House committee investigating the January 6th attack chose to subpoena former President Donald Trump.
All this and more
Coming up on Newsnight.
Today I am joined by the Point Park men's soccer head coach, Coach Cam Williams, to get his insight on how the team has been doing so far this season. Coach Cam, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I know that the men's team is 5-2-1 in the RSC and 8-4-3 overall. What are some significant improvements that you've seen from this year's team compared to last year?
Well, from last year to this year, we had a big recruiting class that's really helped in where we are this year, and also the mentality that the guys bought in from the training and from seeing what the foundation laid last year. So, you know, it comes down to that mentality and also the amount of skill that we were able to bring into the program this year.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of skills, what kinds of things do you guys do at practice to work on the important game time skills in the moment?
So we're all about the small details. What we try and do is build into the big picture of the game, and so we'll start practices off with small sessions and take care of the small details, and then hopefully by the end of training, when we're in that game mode, it's built into that big picture idea.
Mm-hmm. And from a coach's standpoint, what is your coaching style kind of like in leading the team to push through any challenges that come up during matchups?
You know, we're always telling ourselves, like, we're going to face tough teams, we're going to face tough situations, so we have to just keep moving forward. We got to keep pushing up the mountain, and from my coaching style, it's more of a holistic point, centering around the student athlete and making sure that they get the teaching, the skills that they need to be able to perform in games. But, you know, our motto is just keep going, you know, put your head down, keep working, and we'll eventually get there.
That's great. And with 2 regular season games left against the big rival, Rio Grande, and another IUPUC, what are you looking forward to the most for these games and the start of playoffs?
I think with this match coming up on Thursday, it's a moment for our program to take another step forward. We've taken down a 1-ranked opponent already this season, but Rio Grande, they will present a different challenge and an opportunity for us to move up in the slate in terms of our conference ranking right now. But the last 2 matches are important because it's going to help us find our seeding in the conference tournament. So, but you know, our focus is on Rio Grande right now. But we also have Senior Day on Saturday, and that's a special day for our 11 seniors that will graduate. So we're looking forward to honoring them on Saturday, but we got to take care of business on Thursday against Rio Grande.
Well, good luck this week, and I'm super excited to see those boys go at it.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back. Now we will go to Hannah Bazet to give us a rundown on how volleyball has played this past week. Hannah?
Thanks, Nat. The Pioneers are coming off a nice break where they took time to regroup going into the rest of their season. However, things didn't begin as the team had hoped. The first game the girls played was against the Oakland City Mighty Oaks. It was a hard-fought battle, with the girls ultimately losing 3-2. The first 2 sets didn't go as planned, with the Pioneers losing them 27-25 and then 25-19. The team was able to turn things around and took both of the wins in the 3rd and the 4th sets, winning them 25-16 and then 25-23. The 5th set ended with the Mighty Oaks beating the Pioneers 15-10, and the victory was sealed for Oakland City. The next game was played against Brescia University and was a great victory for the girls. They swept, winning all 3 sets and secured their first victory in the River States Conference. The Pioneers were in control of the entire game and never trailed in points. The match began with the Pioneers leading 9-2 off of the opening serve, and then the girls built a 10-point lead. The first set ended with a score of 25-18 Pioneers. The second set also began with the Pioneers leading, and although Brescia fought back, the closest they got in points was 20-17. The second set ended at 25-19 Pioneers. The third set was a battle, with the Pioneers leading throughout but cutting it close from time to time. What started as an 8-3 score ended up at 14-13 later on. However, the girls managed to hold on to the lead and won the set at 25-19. Eden McElhaney, Haley Stormer, and Julia Follador were all standout players in the game. The team is now 6-16 overall and 3-11 in the RSC. The Pioneers play again on Tuesday at 7 p.m. against RSC division rival Rio Grande at home, and we will be cheering them on. We're hopeful the girls can build momentum as the season progresses, and we'll have a full recap on this upcoming week's games on next week's Pioneer Sideline. Now we go to Anna with a recap on how our cross country did this past Saturday. Anna?
Thanks, Hannah. The men's and women's cross country teams continued their season this past weekend in Michigan at the NAIA Great Lakes Challenge on Saturday, October 21st. The women's team competed in the maroon race, which consisted of the fastest teams in the competition for the day. The ladies finished 19th out of 22 teams, competing against 13 top-ranked teams in the NAIA. The Pioneers were led by Ali Plazio and Jana Schmid, who each set 2 personal records to lead the Point Park team listing. With a time of 19:29, Schmid secured herself a spot in the top ranks of the race and finished 37th overall. Senior Ali Plazio finished with a time of 19:06, shaving another 10 seconds off her career best time in the 5K, to finish 22nd overall out of 190 runners. Plazio was also named the River States Conference Runner of the Week for women's cross country. Congratulations, Ali. In other news, the men's team finished 23rd out of 27 schools, competing against several nationally ranked teams. Point Park completed the 8K with a team average time of 26 minutes and 59 seconds. 3 runners under the 27-minute mark helped Point Park achieve an average below that threshold. Yannick Windelben led the Pioneers once again with a time of 26:09 to move into the lead group of 243 competitors. Windelben covered a mile at a pace of 5:15, and Ramiro Unluque was next to finish for the Pioneers, posting a time of 26:38, while Luke McKenna trailed just behind at 26:43. Joshua Gosling came in just shy of the 27-minute mark at 27:04, while John Dyer and Gabe Ebersole finished in 28:23 and 28:32 respectively. Both Pioneer teams will now prepare for the River States Conference Championship meet, taking place on November 4th at Midway, Kentucky. The championship team and qualifying individuals will advance to the NAIA National Championship. Good luck to all those competing. Now we go to Kai with a recap on how our esports team is doing. Kai?
Thanks, Anna. Only 3 games remain in the Point Park League of Legends season, and the Pioneers are still looking to put a win on the board. Although some of their early matches have been close, their last game against Akron saw the Pioneers having trouble overcoming both a gold and kill deficit early in the early stages of each game, eventually leading to a pretty fast victory for Akron. The Pioneers held on for 25 minutes in Game 1, but fell in Game 2 at 23-minute mark. Akron walked away with over 100,000 gold and had 51 kills across both games, while Point Park had a gold deficit of over 30,000 and ended the night with just 15 kills. This marks the 4th 0-2 loss this semester. Hopefully the Pioneers will be able to shake that off as they get ready to play James Madison and University of Kentucky this week and John Brown University next week. With a close defeat against Full Sail University on Monday, the Pioneer Valorant team finds themselves in a delicate situation after round 2 of the CVAL Collegiate Valorant fall season. The Pioneers, who started the season ranked 28th overall in CVAL and the highest ranked team in the group stage, lost map 1 Bind 10-13. This may come as a shock to many Pioneer fans, as Bind historically has been Point Park's best map, and was actually their map pick during Monday's match. They played much better on Haven, where they were only able to take 4 rounds for Full Sail in the 17-round game, despite it being Full Sail's pick. It all came down to decider ascent in this best of 3. The Pioneers were winning 7-5 after the first half, but Full Sail put up an extremely good fight, just edging out ahead in the 17th round and eventually winning the map 13-10. Pioneer player Sunseri was the overall match MVP thanks to many great rounds, but it just was not enough to win the series. Despite the Pioneers winning more rounds overall, they still came out behind. Full Sail is now undefeated as of the second round, while the Pioneers sit with 1 win and 1 loss. Because CVAL only takes the top team from each group, not only would the Pioneers need to win their next match while Full Sail loses, but another team in the group stage would also have to end the group stage with 2 wins and 1 loss to bring the groups down to a round differential, where Point Park may have the upper hand. You can cheer them on in their last match this Saturday as they face against Auburn Navy. That's all from Point Park Sports. Now back to you at the desk, Nat.
Thank you, Kai, Hannah, and Anna. After the break, we break down everything going on locally and nationally. Make sure you stay tuned. Welcome back. Now I'll be sending things over to Peyton Celesti making his reporting sideline debut for all things locally. Peyton?
After a big upset win over previously undefeated Louisville, the Pitt Panthers were looking to start a winning streak on the road this past Saturday against the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, who came into the matchup with an 0-3 record in ACC play. Although the offense was clicking on all cylinders against the Cardinals, redshirt sophomore quarterback Christian Vier couldn't get much going in his second career start against a statistically poor Wake Forest defense. After an opening drive touchdown pass to freshman wide receiver Kenny Johnson in the first quarter, the Panthers didn't get any points until kicker Ben Sauls gave them a 10-7 lead with a field goal early in the fourth quarter. Later in the fourth quarter, down 14-10, Vier showed flashes of his potential on a drive that ended with a beautiful touch pass to wide receiver Bub Means, who led the team with 9 catches for a 22-yard touchdown, which gave Pitt the lead back with a minute and a half remaining in the game. And then after an interception from Aliquippa product MJ Devonshire on the Demon Deacons' ensuing drive, the game looked to be over, as the Panthers' offense just needed 1 first down to put the game away. But this is where the chaos began. On a 3rd and 8, Vier ran for what looked to be an easy first down, but the officials made one of the most controversial calls of the weekend, spotting him short of the line to gain. Vier slid inbounds to keep the clock running, and the left sideline official determined that Vier started his slide short of the first down marker. Panther fans would argue, based on the replay, that Vier's run was clearly a first down and should have ended the game. But this opened the door for Santino Marucci, Wake Forest's third-string quarterback, making his first career start to lead his team to victory. Marucci completed a 3rd and 11 pass to get his team into field goal range, and later found Cameron Height for a 15-yard touchdown to put the Demon Deacons in front with 7 seconds left in the game. This crushing 21-17 loss puts the Panthers in a difficult position to reach bowl eligibility, as they fall to 2-5 overall and 1-3 in conference play. Their schedule gets a lot more difficult starting this Saturday night, as they'll travel to South Bend to take on the number 14 ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. In other Pittsburgh sports news, the Penguins have continued to be mediocre, as they fell on the road last week to the Detroit Red Wings and the St. Louis Blues. The Penguins outshot the Blues this past Saturday by 12 shots on goal, but goalie Tristan Jarry, who signed a 5-year contract extension this offseason, gave up 4 goals on only 21 shots by St. Louis. One bright spot for the Penguins has been Evgeny Malkin, who has scored a goal in each of his last 3 games. The Penguins will look to get back on track this week as they have 3 home games against the Dallas Stars, the Colorado Avalanche, and the Ottawa Senators. Finally, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds Soccer Club ended their great season in disappointing fashion. The Riverhounds, who were the #1 seed in the playoffs, were eliminated by Detroit City 1-0 in a quarterfinal conference matchup. Although the Riverhounds controlled the ball and had more shots on goal, a record-setting 6,123 fans at Highmark Stadium were sent home with an unfortunate loss. With that in mind, let's hear from Steelers fan 7 himself, John Mayer, as he recaps the Steelers' takeover in SoFi Stadium. John?
Thanks, Peyton. The Pittsburgh Steelers came away with another hard-fought win Sunday in Los Angeles, improving to 4-2 on the season by defeating Aaron Donald and the Rams by a score of 24-17. It was a much improved performance offensively for Pittsburgh, with the Steelers reaching the end zone 3 times as Kenny Pickett notched the Steelers' first rushing touchdown of the season, while Jalen Warren and Najee Harris also rushed for touchdowns in Pittsburgh's victory. NFL Defensive Player of the Year frontrunner T.J. Watt helped completely change the momentum of the game. With the Steelers down 9-3 in the beginning of the second half, Watt picked off Matthew Stafford and set up the Steelers at the Rams' 6-yard line to help take a 10-9 lead. Steelers star receiver George Pickens also had a big game once again, putting up 107 yards on only 5 catches. Steelers receiver Deontay Johnson also made an impact in his return off injured reserve, putting up 79 receiving yards on 5 receptions. Steelers rookie corner Joey Porter Jr. also made an impact, coming up with big pass defenses on Rams star rookie wideout Puka Nacua and continuing a lockdown start to the season. Next up for the Steelers, Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars at home in Pittsburgh in a battle of 2 playoff contenders. Can the Steelers take down Jacksonville at home and improve to 5-2 during the 2023 season? We will see next week at Acrisure Stadium. That's all from me this week. Make sure to follow @SteelerFan7 to stay regularly updated on all things Steelers throughout the remainder of the season. With that in mind, let's hear from Gabe Ebersol about the rest of the sports world. Gabe?
Thanks, John. On the NFL calendar, we're nearing the halfway point of the season. Week 7 kicked off with the Jags and Saints, a contest that went down to the wire. With the ball on the 6-yard line and the weight of the game on his shoulders, Derek Carr's toss to the back left corner of the end zone hit tight end Foster Moreau right in the hands before falling incomplete. An incompletion on the following 4th down sealed the 31-24 victory for the Jags over the Saints. The playoff landscape shifted even more this past week as Buffalo overcame a slow start against the Patriots to go up 25-22 with 1:58 left, only to allow Mac Jones to drive the ball downfield before connecting with Mike Gesicki for the game-winning touchdown 29-25. The Bills fall to 4-3 on the season, and the win marked Coach Bill Belichick's 300th career victory, making him only the 3rd coach to accomplish such in NFL history. In other afternoon action, Myles Garrett carried the Browns to a 39-38 victory over Gardner Minshew and the Colts. Former D2 quarterback Tyson Bagent steps in to lead the Bears over the Raiders 30-12 with the help of Deontay Foreman's 3 touchdowns. Tyrod Taylor and the Giants defense did enough to capture a 14-7 division victory over the Commanders in Saquon Barkley's return. And the Falcons overcame QB Desmond Ritter's 3 lost fumbles inside the 15-yard line to string together a game-winning drive in Tampa Bay, giving them the first place in the NFC South. The Ravens violated the Lions 38-6 behind Lamar Jackson's 393 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Chiefs and the Eagles both took 31-17 victories over the offensive-oriented opponents with their best pass catchers. Chiefs' Travis Kelce recorded 12 catches for 179 yards and a touchdown against the Chargers, and Eagles' A.J. Brown outshined Tyreek Hill with 10 for 137 and a touchdown on the Dolphins. Finally, on Monday Night Football, Kirk Cousins overcame his well-known primetime woes against the Niners. Without star receiver Justin Jefferson, Cousins turned to rookie Jordan Addison and tight end T.J. Hawkinson, who combined for over half the Vikings' receptions and yards in the contest. The passing attack combined with Cameron Bynum's 2 interceptions off Brock Purdy got the Vikings a 22-17 home win. Week 8 starts on Thursday with both the Buccaneers and Bills looking to bounce back off this week's losses. On this week's college football scene, Number 3, Ohio State rode the country's best receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr., to a 20-12 win over number 8 Penn State, and Michigan shuts out Michigan State 49-0 behind J.J. McCarthy's 4 touchdowns. In the ACC, number 4 Florida State rallies past number 16 Duke with a 21-0 fourth quarter to win 38-20. And Drake May's late-game interceptions seals number 10 UNC Tar Heels' first loss on the year to 1-5 Virginia. Number 11 Alabama takes down number 17 Tennessee in the SEC with a big second half, and Caleb Williams-led USC falls to number 14 Utah by a score of 34-32. In MLB action, Texas Rangers overcame the Houston Astros 3-2 series lead to win Game 7 11-4 behind right fielder Adolis Garcia's 5 RBIs. The new American League champs await the winner of tonight's Game 7, Phillies versus D-backs. The D-backs were able to bring the series back to Philly for a final contest after cooling off Philly's bats in Game 6, coasting to a 5-1 win. The winner will get ready for Game 1 of the championship series on Friday night. The NHL season continues to settle in. The Bruins, Avalanche, and Knights still boast flawless records, but the Red Wings are averaging 5 goals a game through their first 6 contests, 5 of those being wins. They also have the league's leader in points and goals thus far, right wing Alex DeBrincat. Not all teams have started off so hot though, as contenders including the Oilers and the Panthers look to get their seasons on track soon. We'll keep an eye on the standings throughout the coming week. The NBA season tips off tonight with the Western Conference Finals rematch at 7:30 between the Lakers and the Nuggets in Denver. Following that act is another Western Conference thriller as CP3 suits up for his Warriors debut against the Phoenix Suns, who added newly acquired All-Star Bradley Beal and center Yusuf Nurkic this offseason. This NBA season is going to start off strong, as many other exciting matchups take place this opening week, including the Bucks taking on the Sixers on Thursday and an Eastern Conference Finals rematch between the Heat and Celtics on Friday. Between rookies, seeing how offseason moves play out, and high-quality matchups early on, I can't wait for this NBA season. That's all from me and the rest of us. Back to you at the desk, Nat.
Thanks, guys. After the break, we discuss who has showed out and who have been letdowns in the NHL so far this season. Don't go anywhere.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back to
Daybreak.
Chicken Guy opened in PPG Place on Monday.
The bridge would open before the 1 year marks to check out the 20th annual gingerbread display.
Share with you this week's ray of sunshine.
We are still somehow hanging around in the playoff.
It gives Georgia Democrats some hold onto the governing body.
Are 200,000 people still in harm's way?
This weather is perfect for those cozy nights indoors.
Welcome back to Case of the Week. This week I'm joined by Ryan, Jake, and Nick, and we're going to discuss who has showed out and who has been letting us down in the NHL so far this season. So starting out with who has showed out, Ryan, what teams have showed out in your opinion?
So just like their NFL counterparts, the Detroit Red Wings have showed out this year. This was the shocker for everybody because Detroit was the bottom of everybody's preseason list. Right now they have 5 goals a game, which is first in the NHL. 4 players above 3 goals within their short season. Their power play is looking good. Their power kill is 5th best in the NHL. And overall, this team has looked solid, which shocks everybody because, again, they were the bottom of the list last year. They were projected to be bottom of the list again this year. It's been a great year to be a Detroit sport fan.
Is there anything that has changed, though, from last year to this year?
I just think all around, their problem is that they didn't really have a top 6 or a bottom 6. This year they have a lot of top 6 power, but again, like any other team, their bottom 6 is a little lackluster, but the top 6 is what helps them win games. And also their goaltending. I mean, they have a 9-15 goal save advantage. You don't see that too much anymore.
Yeah, Alex DeBrincat leads the league in goals this year, which is very impressive. I had Detroit as a bubble team, but they look like they can make a push in the Eastern Conference this year. For me, team that's stepping out, Colorado Avalanche. 5-0 start. McKinnon, McCarr, those guys, they look good. They look hungry. They lost in the first round last year to the Seattle Kraken, so they look like they can make a push here.
For me, I got to go the Boston Bruins. You know, they had the best record in the NHL last season. Obviously, the historic season. Obviously, it ended in 7 games to the Panthers. And they look hungry again this year. I mean, they lost Bergeron and Krejci to retirement this offseason. A huge blow to the offense and the center depth. But that rookie, Matthew Portois, he looks good. He has 2 goals, 3 points in his first 5 career NHL games. I mean, they have, obviously, Charlie McAvoy still there. They have David Pastrnak, obviously, with 5 goals so far this season. Obviously looking great, as always. And the goaltending of Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman still looking great like they did last season for the Bruins.
So what teams have been the lacklusters of the bunch?
Well, the team that I was pulling for last playoffs was the Seattle Kraken, so it was nice to see a new team within 2 years of being inside the playoffs, again, just like Vegas was. But this year, it's completely different. They're averaging 1 goal a game. You can't win hockey games like that. I mean, their power play percentage is very low. Their power kill is good, but again, they have no help in the bottom 6. And their top 6 is being lackluster this year without having Brandon Tanev, who now is out for a month. That's a big portion of the NHL season, at least because if you don't start off hot, it's hard to get into playoff and get into playoffs if you don't start off hot. It's sad to see the Kraken not doing good, but it's just how it rolls for them.
You can't win the Stanley Cup this early, but you can certainly lose it with a bad start. So I agree with that. For me, the Edmonton Oilers, they're starting 1-3-1. McDavid's out for a week. That's tough for the Oilers because that's pretty much all they got. They ride Connor McDavid, so that's tough for them. Their goalies haven't been great with Skinner and Campbell. They gave Campbell that big contract. He just hasn't lived up to it, so they got some major issues in Edmonton.
For me, I got to go the Pittsburgh Penguins. They haven't looked too good. They're 2-3. You know, they've got Kyle Dubas from Toronto this offseason. He made so many great moves. Obviously brought in Erik Karlsson from the San Jose Sharks. He's looked amazing as a Penguin. It's been awesome to see. But, man, they're starting off 2-3. Their only wins have came against the Capitals, which obviously have also struggled, and obviously they won against the Capitals, and then they got another big win as well. So we expected more from this team. Obviously losing to the Red Wings and the Blues didn't help, but it's a big week for them, and hopefully they can find a way to turn things around.
The nice thing is it is still the beginning of the season. I know it's really important in hockey to get that good start, but at the same time, we still have so much hockey left. So we're going to have to see with the Penguins. We have a game tonight, so let's bring it. Let's bring it home, guys.
Let's go, Penguins.
With all that speculation, that's all the time that we have this week. Be sure to join us next week at the same Pioneer time, the same Pioneer channel, and the same Pioneer Sideline.